This audio recording was produced in 2014 by Christian Audio, which owns the copyright. No portion of this recording may be reproduced for any reason without prior written consent from Christian Audio. This edition recorded by arrangement with Waterbrook Press, an imprint of Crown Publishing Group, a division of Random House LLC. Please visit christianaudio.com, facebook.com/christianaudio, or twitter.com/christianaudio to offer your impressions of this work and to explore additional titles.
Every Man, God's Man, by Stephen Arterburn and Kenny Luck, with Mike Yorkie. Introduction by Stephen Arterburn. Please forgive me for not starting off this book with a super stud football story or some other macho-inspired anecdote as men's books are supposed to do. At any rate, my story begins on a dusty, hardscrabble high school football field in Bryan, Texas, where I hated almost every sweat-producing minute of every bone-crunching practice, none of which produced victories because our sorry team lost nearly every game. Yes, you heard me right. I hated playing football, even if it was in Texas, where high school football is a state religion and players have streets named after them. There, I've said it. In other books, I've confessed to being a crummy husband or a sad sack who lusted and wantonly chased every skirt in town. But that was easy compared to what I just did, admitting that I hated playing football. What a stupid sport. Looking back, I wish I'd been a thespian on the high school drama team. That means I wanted to be an actor, for those of you who live in Rio Linda. I say this even though I have a dog-eared article in my scrapbook that says I might have been the best running back ever to set foot in Bronco Stadium. My inauspicious football career began late in my sophomore year at Stephen F. Austin High School, home of the Broncos, when my head coach had the brilliant idea during spring practice of moving me from center to fullback. I weighed 210 pounds, most of which was baby fat, but I was fast on my feet. I welcomed Coach's decision because the allure of bending over, hiking the ball to someone's hands between my legs, and then blocking an oversized nose guard who was fully committed to knocking me on my rear end had lost some of its luster, if you catch my drift. At the end of spring practice, we played the annual green-white game, an intra-squad contest held every April when the weather was already too hot for walking a dog. We played for the sole reason that people in Texas could not wait until September to witness a real football game. My first green-white football game was staged on a searing Friday night in Bronco Stadium. For most of the game, I lined up behind the quarterback as the fullback. When the ball was snapped, my job was to run into the line, faking that I had the ball. Throughout the first 3 quarters, I ducked my head and plowed into the line. Instead of actually blocking someone, I would fall into a heap and hope I tripped someone. What a pitiful sight I must have been. Rather than making a crushing block and punching a hole for the halfback to run through, I pretty much performed a pratfall into the line. This made perfect sense since I was a guy who avoided pain at all costs. Then the unexpected happened. Late in the green-white game, the unexpected happened. Instead of being cannon fodder, as I had been for the previous 40 plays, I would get to run the ball. The play called for me to take the handoff, burst through a roadblock filled with muscle-bound linemen, cut to the outside of the linebackers, and sprint for the goal line. More likely, I would be stuffed at the line of scrimmage and find myself at the bottom of a humongous dog pile, gasping for breath. We were on our own 30-yard line, which means we were 70 yards from the end zone. After hearing the quarterback announce the play, I envisioned myself running up to the line and falling over in a hunched-up fetal position while cradling the ball. I could just hear the announcer laughing over the public address system and saying something like, "Hand off to Arterburn. Ooh, he didn't get very far, did he?" The ball was snapped. I shot out of my 3-point stance behind the quarterback because the only thing faster than my legs was the beating of my heart. I opened up my folded arms. The quarterback slid the ball inside, and I headed toward the meat packers from the local processing plant, now posing as guards, tackles, nose guards, and linebackers. Then the strangest thing happened. A gap opened up in the wall. I shot through the hole and, once I was beyond the line of scrimmage, I nearly dropped the ball in disbelief. I had some daylight. I cut to the outside, and now it was a foot race between me and cornerback Billy Davis, the fastest player on the team. There was no way I could outrun Billy. When he caught up,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?